Yo, it's Ozzy again. Try not to make too much noise tonight because it is Sunday, and I don't want to be a dick who's like keeping the whole flat awake. Um, yeah, I just wanted to make another devlog. No, I don't think anyone really listens to them, so I'm not gonna be like squeaky clean with how I talk. I'll just say it what it is. Yeah, so fuck. I'm in my final year of school now. We made it. Um, bruh, I did not think I would last this long. To be honest, I really don't think I'm the most competent artist until recently. Actually, kind of changing my mindset there. As you can see from the stubble, which I don't think was there last time. Yeah, man, wow. Uh, the difficulty of school years definitely escalate. And I'm just out here like trying to survive, bro. Like, yeah, um, yeah. So it's been like, oh god, yeah, like 2 months of school. So with how final year is structured, we only have two modules at a time, which make things uh, a bit easier, but at the same time, your like expected volume of work is like way up here compared to what it used to be. Way back when I was a first year, we had like four modules at once, and it was kind of crazy. I definitely struggled with that, but now I kind of get tunnel visioned a bit, and I'm trying to like loose that habit. But I'm really kind of proud with the progress I've been making lately, so I figured I'd maybe record a video about it, kind of show off what I've been working on for the past. Oh, my bad. My apologies. For the past few weeks. So yeah, we started off. Once second year ends, you kind of pick your pathway, right? You can either go into character design or you can go into environment design, and I'm much more of a environment guy. I love telling stories where I can with environments. So there wasn't much to think about there. I did kind of have like a oh god moment as the year was starting, like whether I truly wanted to do it. But in the end, I decided, yeah, come on, let's do let's do what you love. So yeah, this is environment design for production. It's kind of just taking what you know, um, and really, I think just nailing it, compared to before, where you were like kind of learning new things. This year's more just like you know what you're doing. So here's a brief, go off and do it. And the brief I chose, we had like a selection of books, and I settled on Dracula, the 1897 book version. Really good read, by the way. I've not finished it yet, but yeah. So I'll kind of walk you through like the concept art process as best I can. Just kind of a quick disclaimer. I don't think I've got the best process. Like if you see me do something, like always try and do double what Ryan does, because Ryan works really fucking slow. There's the first swear, man. I don't give a I don't give a fuck. Uh, that's kind of how I'm feeling at the moment. But yeah, so yeah, let's see. Yeah, so we started. The first thing you kind of do with concept art is you build reference boards, right? And you annotate those as you need to. Like, there's no point adding annotations just for the sake of it. Just like really break down what you like about these images, why you've chosen them, and that's just kind of like to help inform someone who looks through this, what you're doing, because it's really hard to like know what someone is thinking, especially an artist, right? Like everyone's got a different kind of approach to this stuff. But I think the kind of unifying thing is like good concept art. It's use reference. And if I have time, I'll kind of show what happens when you don't use reference, because I did do that. It's a silly mistake, and I know not to use it, and I have fixed it. But I think it will be a kind of good example to kind of learn from my mistakes if you want. So yeah. So with my inspiration board, I kind of like I've already got a set of artists who I really like, and it's funnily enough artists I actually know and talk to on a semi-regular basis. You got my friend Nico's work down here. I just love the way he renders. It's just gorgeous. And he does it fast as well, because I've been lucky enough to watch him paint, and I kind of know that can be applied to a concept art process if you know if you become competent enough at kind of deconstructing that process. Um, this over here, all these kind of images are from Sam Kemp, who taught me in first year, and he's now went on to work for Face Punch. And I just, yeah, sorry, I don't mean to make this like a simping session, but these are all the kind of like the art and things which speak to me, which is why they're on here. Like, I love his stylized work. I love the way he does brushstrokes. It's just incredible. Like, kind of really activates my neurons, if that makes sense. So yeah, it wasn't a hard choice to just slap them on there. Down here was kind of like, I'm sorry I can't zoom this in, by the way. I have tried, it doesn't work. Kind of like some breakdowns of interiors, which I could maybe copy a bit and apply to my own work. A lot of it is from the SCD School of Design, who I'm a really big fan of. Like, I'm a straight Fengzu simp, if you will. And yeah, I just, the way they do like interior cutaways is just like so pleasing, I guess, to look at. But beyond that, it's just a really good way of like illustrating design. So yeah, it wasn't a hard call, I guess, for me to decide that, hey, for my final year, I really want to like do that style, and I really want to nail it. Because I do feel like I'm at the point where I know, and I have the tools. It's just like the amount of work and the design you have to do like beforehand, to reach a result which is actually like decent. So yeah, the next step from that was building like real world ref boards, where you kind of take inspiration from the real world, and it kind of informs your design. So you're not just like, again, pulling shit out your ass, because I've done it, man. It doesn't work. You kind of have to like have really informed design, because it makes sense. Why even make stuff up? Because people have already figured this out. There's no need to. Well, I guess, yeah. Sometimes like maybe it's me, because I've got a very like ADHD brain, but when you're trying to like save time, or you're rushing a little bit, I think that's when you tend to skip out on the reference. But I think it makes a big difference, and it's not worth kind of like ignoring it. So yeah, just be careful. Again, just way more annotation, like really break down why you've chosen something. You shouldn't really be plopping stuff in there without a purpose. Because I think I used to do that before, because I thought, oh yeah, they want more references, I'll just throw it all in. But it's really obvious in the final product if you haven't like used those references. So yeah, just don't do what I do, man. Like, just do things right the first time. It saves you so much like hassle. Don't be a dum dum. So yeah, you just be smart with your reference gathering, man, and gather like as much as you can that you know you're going to use, and explain why. It's a really simple like part of the process. I just find it sometimes it can be a bit boring if you can't find like interesting stuff right away. But that doesn't. It's one of those things, man. Like it depends, like how long you do reference gathering for, because like most of the time when I sit at my PC or like work at my desk, whatever, um, when I start a task, I love to try and finish it in the same sitting I start it. And from like just my experience doing art, you can't really like get away with that. Sometimes like if you want to make a piece and make it like really good, you just simply need more than one session. Because sometimes you'll walk away, come back after like a rest or something, and your mindset completely changes. Sometimes like you look at work and you think, oh, I was fine with this yesterday, but now looking at it, this is shit. Um, I'm not even gonna bother like with a swear jar like last time, man. Like, I'm sorry, I'm really tired, but I kind of have the urge to do these because it's been a long weekend, man. I just kind of like need to vent, and I like to vent through art. Um, Not really healthy, but yeah. So yeah, just be careful with the references you use, man. Like be deliberate with all your decisions. Um, Here's a quick plot synopsis I wrote down. Synopsis. Yeah. Just kind of going into like what I've learned from actually like studying the source material, which you should do if you get given a brief and it's like a book or a film or whatever. Like, bro, actually listen to the source material, because you pick up things which weren't immediately apparent. For example, at least with the Dracula one, something which stuck out to me was the rooms of Dracula's castle were described as being like octagonal in shape, um, which kind of informed me that hey, I should make these rooms octagonal. It's not ever like immediately apparent. Like you won't learn that from reading the Wikipedia entry for Dracula, but man, it's there. Like just read. I know you guys can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, man. Like shit. Um, yeah. So, well, here was like the first task we actually did for environment production, because we had like a new lecturer this year, Ashub, who um, was I think he kind of wanted to like get an understanding of like where we were at, artistically, so to speak. So he just kind of like made us make these really primitive like ins um, in Blender, and wanted us to like draw them from three different angles and perspective, and it was due like the fucking next day, bro. Like you know, um, which I've done a lot of research about FCD, and I don't even know if that would be like on par with them or is actually more, because it doesn't sound like a lot three ends from three angles, but obviously you want to make everything the best it can be, and I can show you guys, what happened with that. Boom. Here we go. Whoa, amazing! Wow, the I did it right. Bro, I, I like to imagine people are like laughing behind the screen, but listen, yeah, it's better to like do things really sketchy than just not do them at all. I'm just kind of cringing at this, man. Like, because you can do a way better job with more time. Um, but the deadline was so like close, I had to just like almost shit these out, right? Like there was no time for quality. my friend Nico, whose work I showed you in the reference folder earlier, was like, no, you don't have time. Like, don't even Alt-Z your lines. Don't even erase them. Like, just commit. They don't deserve to be good lines. And that hit me, man. I was like, shit, bro. So I submitted them. It's what it is, man. Like, I did my best with what I had. And I suppose for a lot of like concept art, this is kind of like what it is, right? Like, it's just sketchy work. You wouldn't, I wouldn't be posting these on ArtStation. But I was set a brief, a very like short time span on that brief, and I just fucking went ham, bro. Like, I just went for it. Um, so yeah, what was this about? Yeah, so Asher was teaching us like ways to quickly extrude like 3D assets from photo references. So I made a quick chair, made an archway. They kind of fall apart when you look a bit closer at them, but um, I can see the value in it. Like, it's definitely a smart technique, and I did apply it to my design, which we'll be looking at in a bit. Because it's just about speed, right? Like, how fast can you do something without like sacrificing the quality? I feel like uh, that's the kind of biggest obstacle between me and concept art. Like, getting really good at it. It's just like how fucking slow I am. Even I talk slow, man. Like, bro, if someone gets through this, you deserve like a fucking award. I wish I could give you one, but I'm broke. So yeah, just congratulations. Some personal work I did on the weekends because I ain't got anything better to do. Um, just yeah, I really like painting with the lasso because I think it creates like some interesting shapes. It's just really fun to kind of like see where your brain takes you. I'm trying to get a lot better at like rendering. So I've been thinking a bit harder about how like shadows work and how they bounce. You can see it a bit on the side of the second one, but the one I really liked was the one on the left because it was like just a landscape, and I just added a random like pillar in there, and bam, concept, woo. So yeah, there was more homework, wasn't there? After getting through the book. Here we go. Yeah, so the next part was floor plans, and just more kind of like 3D assets, just like really hammering in the fact that you understand the process. So yeah, mine was basic as fuck, man. Like, I can't believe I submitted that. Jesus. I fixed it later, which is the main thing. But geez. So yeah, with the assets again, it's third year is like really about just hammering in process and like you shouldn't ever like be at a point, I think, where you don't know what you're doing, if that makes much sense. You, I'm kind of nervous to sometimes say like I don't know, and I try not to. Because like there's no such thing as a stupid question, but at the same time it's like, well, come on, I'm in a final year. It's one of those human things, man, where it's kind of like I'm scared to even acknowledge it, right? Like, it's what it is. Anyway, yeah. So I just made some more assets. I really like the drawers, actually. I should probably, bro, I should go back and use those. What's wrong with me? Again, please keep following up to date. Yeah, bro, I'm not the best at documenting. Like, keep me drawing, and I'll like just draw all day. But when it comes to actually like showing off my work, I'm like, ooh, oh, I hope everyone likes my drawing. Ooh, like, really dumb stuff. Considering like I'm supposed to be professional now. Kind of leaving the whole student mentality at the door. Because concept art is not about a pretty image. Like I said it in the last devlog. like 95% of the time, it's rough, sketchy stuff like those inns I showed you. You only get to really make like pretty image towards the end when you've actually got like design figured out, and and that's more about communicating the design than anything else. So yeah, harsh truths, right? Like, so this was like I think there might be a better version of that. I did some crets as well, for the doors and stuff for Dracula's castle, because I thought they would be really cool. I don't know if you've ever like um, played a game called Until Dawn, but there was like this totem mechanic where um, they kind of showed you future events, and I had like a crazy idea one day of like, what if the crets on Dracula's door changed to kind of indicate like what kind of awaited you in the room ahead. Not too. I'm not too sure if I ended up going through with this because there's like a time consideration. Maybe I will. Like maybe I'll paint them on. Because I feel like it would be a waste to not use those designs. Because my other lecturer Moylan, who's like really sweet, said they really liked those designs, and yeah, they're all right. Like I don't have a problem with them. It's just using them, man. Like finding like the appropriate way to use them is the thing. Yeah. So here we go. I think this was like the most up to date I got on the actual entrance for Dracula's castle. But the thing is, man, like I I look at the design. I'm like, wow, this is so basic. I wouldn't put this on ArtStation. I wouldn't even like, you know, uh, I wouldn't even feel comfortable like showing it as design usually, because there's so many problems with it. To just kind of name a few, like even the shape, it's just a hexagon, man. Like you need to kind of break your shapes. I learned with like watching way too much Feng Zhu, because it's just like this. It it's functional, sure, but it's not interesting. Like I don't think people would pay you to design a hexagon, right? Because you get paid for your design as a concept artist, man. So I went back to the kind of drawing board after this because I was feeling like crap. I need to up my game. So yeah, so just more feedback, made more assets. There's a duck in that portrait. I just I love doing silly shit, man, because this work is hard and it can be when you're just designing constantly, it can be pretty like um, taxing on you mentally. So I like to just it's my little like way of making it fun. I just sprinkle like silly shit in where no one's gonna really see it. Because I obviously just paint over Mr. Ducky. But he exists. He's there. He's under the layer. Um, I swear I'm the only one. I'm the only one on this earth with my sense of humor. It's so hard being this funny. Yeah, so we had to write like a 200 word reflection on kind of like what we've learned so far and how we're using it. I didn't really have much to write about because like you'll see coming down. I went way back. I was like, look, my design's a bit boring. How can I fix this, right? So I went back to the kind of like floor blocking plan, just trying to like make things more interesting. Like we started here, and there was a corridor which led to the dining room. But how can we make let's switch up to the dining room because first off, I think it's more interesting. There's more stuff I can put in a dining room, and just kind of go from there. So it branched out. It led to the dining room, and there was a lower floor which led to kind of Dracula's library, where he keeps a lot of books on England for some reason. Take it from me, like I wouldn't personally come to England. If you wanted to do a little bit of trolling, I guess you could tell Dracula to go to Birmingham or Stoke, but Bro, I would in a heartbeat. I would tell Dracula, like, bro, go to, you know, like, I'll stop venting in a second, but do you know, like, that stupid meme where it, like, zooms in on the world map and it's like, oh, it zooms in on a really shitty town, but then shows it as, like, green pastures and epic waterfalls and landscapes? That's where I'd fucking send Dracula, bro, I swear. But no, instead I'm renovating his castle for free, you know. Anyway, sorry, I'm so off track. Yeah, so you come down the corridor into the dining room, and I kind of had to explore more like about medieval dining rooms and castles and the such. Um, and you just kind of like you use linear design to inform yourself of what is going to be in that scene. And what I mean by that is, so you have a dining room, right? Well, where does the food come from? It has to have a kitchen, right? That's just common sense. So then I block in a kitchen to that design, and you know the room's already a bit more interesting. But then I also like thought back a bit further on it, like did more research, and it turns out like medieval castles and the like have pantries like back in those days. So wow, already I've got an extra room just from doing like a tiny bit of research because I didn't even realize pantries were a thing. I'm not a very good history buff. Don't have time to like with art. It's kind of scary. I kind of like sold my soul to just draw all the time. But just stuff like that can really kind of inform your decisions. And then I did some other things to make it more interesting, like rather than just being a long rectangle, maybe it breaks out into a kind of circular bit of flooring where I can kind of show off the exterior of the castle with a balcony and such. And yeah, just annotating these floor plans with proper references to just kind of show like, yeah, how did you get there? You're not. I can't stress it enough. Like, don't pull shit out of your ass when it comes to design, because you're setting yourself up for failure basically. Um, so moving on from that, I did some quick 3D blocking sketches of kind of like what I wanted it to look like. And again, more reference, more. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, you just use as much reference as humanly possible. And I started like adding stuff which was more Dracula, so it wasn't just like generic medieval dining room. Like I planned out adding gargoyles and some more kind of just dark gothic architecture to sprinkle everywhere, which by the way was a absolute bitch to model. Like, I never want to look at a fucking archway in my life. He can take this castle and he can fuck off. Like, for all I care, man. Seriously, I lost. Like, I had to. You don't get it, man. Like, I had to model it like 3 times, um, because the topology was just not working. And as a concept artist, you can get away with quite like bad topology. But I'm talking about like for some reason there was just a fucking massive hole in the middle. Could not like wrap my brain around it until I started from scratch, and the problem just kind of never showed up again. And I just kind of sat there staring at my PC like, what the fuck, bro? Like, sorry as well because I realize there's so much more swearing, but um, I'm a bit tired and I kind of like don't want to have to worry about putting a filter on, so I do apologize if it comes off as rude. But moving on, yeah. So week 5, I did some shots from inside the um, corridor because it's littered with like some cool gothic knights. Maybe there's a stairwell leading up. I could line this as well, just make it a keyframe if I've got the time. But it would need more work because it's actually pretty barren. It's just like the architecture which I modeled is kind of like carrying it. Um, because once you take away the lighting, it is a pretty basic scene. So yeah, Yeah, that's like up here. That's in my to do at some point. I've got a lot of things on the to do at some point, but it is what it is, man. Like, bro, I'm working my ass off. Like, I just don't want to go back to the fucking supermarket after after school. Like, I want a shot in this industry, man, and I'm working my ass off to make it happen. Um, so yeah, so wow, here we go. I call this like the pulling out of your ass consequence. Uh, so there is some like, let's go over the good. Like let's build myself up before I break myself down. Like it looks lived in. It looks used, right? It looks like someone has stored shit in here. But that's an accomplishment. Like making a room look lived in to a point is definitely like something to be proud of. It's if you reach that as a designer, like honestly pat yourself on the back because it is not easy to think like so linearly um, all the time. It is really like taxing on the brain, I feel. So yeah, I bigged myself up for that. But then there's everything else, like the architecture. For some reason, I guess I just wasn't like thinking right. Just it's just shit. Like I pulled these arches out my ass. Everything below, sorry, above the kind of the wooden beam up here is kind of made up, and it kind of shows. And another thing as well, like the walls are way too fucking big, man. Like you need to kind of slim them down and take them away to set up a good cutaway. Otherwise, you're just going to be drawing everything from like a downward perspective, and you're going to struggle to like show off the whole scene. So that's just kind of like, yeah, it's if I had done it right, it wouldn't have been a problem. But I did it, and I knew I shouldn't have, and I'm kind of like just kind of kicking myself because like I'm not in a position at the moment to be making these silly mistakes still. So yeah, I did fix it though, like, and that's what counts. Like, because if I tried to run with this, this would be a very short vlog, and it would basically be ending with, and then I failed. But it's not because you know I'm working my ass off. Concept art is hard, man. Like, don't do don't do like between doing drugs and concept art, I'd probably point you towards drugs at this point. Oh man, yeah. So like I said, I kind of got some good critique, and I deconstructed what was wrong with the scene, and it was fucking not enough like informed architecture. So we got these references of actual like castles and just simply modeled them, right, add them to the scene. You don't have to like make stuff up all the time. So yeah, I added it in. Boom. Here we have kind of where the design went. We took the new architecture. We planted it in. Because of the roof, I extended the whole room, and I thought that looks way more interesting. That looks like something someone would want to explore, right? So that just kind of came naturally as a result of like the critique of the roof, which I thought was like worth putting down. So I added it as an iteration, and just kind of explaining how I got there, right? So here we go, and then I split the room as well. As you can see, I guess it's the background from this angle is kind of pushed in, and the bottom half is pushed out. And the reason I did that was it goes back to the whole FCD kind of design mentality I've learned, and that's that you have to like break boxes and make them more interesting. Um, so yeah, that's what I do. I just break them down, split them up, split them open, tone down the walls, just completely tone them down. Hint that they're there, but not like have them, if that makes sense. Just so you can kind of see into the scene as much as you can, and I'm not trying to like hide any of the design. And I feel like that's a really important thing as well. I might not be putting it in the best words because I'm tired, but yeah. So I just added a few more Dracula elements. I feel like Dracula is the kind of guy to have an Iron Maiden. To be honest, like I had taxidermy before, and it wasn't really like scratching that kind of Dracula itch. So yeah, I added some Iron Maidens to the scene. I feel like they're way more aesthetic because it's kind of like you go in the pantry and there's human like remains or kind of human evidence that they've been chopping people up, and it kind of makes you think, what have I just been eating? You know, certainly not like Transylvanian. It must be like Transylvanian delicacy of raw Jonathan Harker meat. That wasn't a very funny joke, but hey, oh, I'm tired, man. Like let's get through it. So I made some color passes at the same time, kind of playing around with the camera shot I wanted to go for, because that's really important, man. Like, if you make it too isometric, it looks flat and it doesn't look right. Because I did even more FCD binging, for God's sake, and it turns out isometric perspective does not occur like naturally in real life. Maybe I should have known that before, but it was kind of a good lesson at the time, or a good reminder. So you need to kind of have like some kind of perspective going on in your scene to make it like pop, make it look believable, right? Like this is actually somewhere. Um, so I ended up settling on, I think it was a cross between 6 and 1. No, 6 and 2, but it needed like a few more design adjustments, I think, because it was still 6 is too zoomed in and 2 is too isometric. And what I did, if I scroll past the FCD videos, I watched. Yeah, here we go. Here's where I'm at now. By the way, maybe I should have made this once it was done. No, my itch to do this has been now. No one's gonna watch anyway, so who cares? Like, so I've been like really just going nuts with my line art, trying to make it like that professional level I've always tried to reach for. And yeah, so speaking on the design, I lowered the, man, those fireworks are still going off. Sorry, they've been launching like fireworks at my fucking apartment for weeks. It's not fun. Anyway, yeah, so I'm getting so sidetracked. I need to wrap this up. I lowered the roof so it could get in the shot. Because if I didn't lower the roof, it would become too isometric trying to fit it in. And I feel like it adds like a lot of personality to the scene to like have these overhanging roof beams, and it's also like a fun like line weight thing, right? Like because you've got to balance line weight really carefully for these environment scenes, because usually there's a lot overlapping, and you need to like make very informed decisions on what lines are more bold than other lines. Otherwise, it just looks like a tangled mess, a tangent even. And yeah, it's just one of those. Like, this isn't done. It's just kind of posted up here as a kind of update. Like, hey, I'm not dead. I'm still working. They know I'm still working on it, but it was significant enough to post an update because I feel like I have really grown. I don't have like any of my older work on hand to show, but the I promise like the level between where this is at already being like half done and what I would try and get away with submitting in my like first year is way more like in quality. And not to like big myself up too much, but I feel like I've been working a lot harder and it is paying off. I just need to like be more consistent with my time, because there's a whole other module and I need to like be working just as much on that as I have on this. and it's more like a 70-30 kind of attention split at the moment, which is really bad. And I know, and I'm working on it. Like, I'm not just letting the problem like escalate. But I feel like what I've been learning here will be helpful there, if that makes sense. Because this is like, okay, refine your process. Um, so I really have no doubts I'm gonna have like a crisp, nice FCD kind of cutaway by the end. I just kind of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Sorry if there's an awkward pause because I'm not gonna edit this while I think. I I just hope in the end, like, for all the work I've done for it, the design is actually interesting. Because this is like the point now where what I make is definitely going in the portfolio, and that's part of why like I think there's a surge in quality, because I cannot afford to half-ass this at any point. Um, Hopefully that's fireworks. So I'm trying to like cut to the chase here. I guess everyone worries that they're not good enough, right? And I'm gonna do my best to not go off on event, but I've always I've always struggled with like feeling like I'm not a very competent artist. You probably get that feel from if you ever watch these. Like, um, it's rare for me to like big myself up. You know, I do think like I'm a very simple kind of person, and it's kind of like, um, part of this job is thinking smart, which I don't think I do enough of. Um, but the fact like this exists as it does now, and it's backed up by all that design, is kind of just like proof that I'm wrong and that yeah, I am smart, I am competent, and I can do this. So yeah, man. What's some other advice I can give? Because I do hope this helps, honestly. Because I really struggled, man. Like on it, I wouldn't be the first because it would be like a dropout who really struggled, right? Because I've hung in there, but um, I don't think my brain was really like programmed for academics. If I can like even help one person who struggles like just as much as I do, I'd feel like pretty good about myself, to be honest. So yeah, if I guess like don't just do art. And what do I mean by that? Like, have a hobby, man. Like, for real. Give me a second, because I'm like, my throat is dying. I have like a whole bottle of cola on here, man. Like, blah. Oh. Yeah, my bad diet decisions apart. Like, have a hobby. Like, my teacher Anthony was like, enjoy your last year, like in a really heartfelt way, because that can kind of, I guess that can kind of sound sinister. Yeah, enjoy your last year. No, he meant it in a really nice way. Um, but at the same time, as like a final year student at uni, you know it's the end. So you're like working so fucking hard to like, because the competition is fierce, man. And I don't mean that like towards other students, because the people here are like really nice. Um, but it's kind of like the mindset of, if you're not drawing like 12 hours every day, then there's someone on the other world who is, and they'll probably get a job in this industry, which you could have had. It's really fucking bad, man. But um, yeah, so don't like don't worry about that stuff as much as I do. Live your life, man. Like, join a club which has like nothing to do with art, like as a hobby. Because employers love to like hear about what you do besides art. So yeah, it could be anything. Like it's whatever, man. Like what do you enjoy? Just do it. You know, art's still gonna be there once you come back for a few hours to kind of like cool off. In terms of like hobbies for me, I kind of do walks. I don't know if they count as a hobby, but um, I struggle a lot with ADHD, man. Like, I, doing these lines is really taxing. I do them for like an hour 30 minutes, which is already way more than I used to be able to stick it out. But my brain's like, it's like an actual headache. It's like a tingle on the back of your neck, and you can't scratch it. So usually, if it's going like really badly and I just cannot like get anything done, I'll um I'll just stop for a bit. You know, like okay, we're not really achieving anything. It's time to just like take a quick walk. So yeah, just have a hobby, man. It's 11:45, so I'm probably gonna wrap this up anyway. I'm sorry again if like this devlog has been a bit more sporadic than my last one. It's kind of just like I've I've been drawing so much, and I kind of just need to like talk, even if it's just like a one-sided like conversation. I know that sounds silly, but yeah, maybe someone will get some out of it. Maybe no one will get some out of it, man. Like my YouTube career is really not taking off. I haven't put it like I need to put like some clickbaity thumbnails or something, man. I swear. Anyway, I'm already ranting. I've said my piece, um, but I'm looking forward to like maybe in a few weeks, you know, getting this all rendered up, getting it all lined and finished, and yeah, I think I'll have a really kick-ass portfolio piece. Um, so yeah, just stick things out, hang in there, guys. Like we're all gonna make it, you know. So yeah, that's everything. Ozzy signing off, or insert like some epic outro. I don't know. Yeah, you guys have a good one.